still a rather rough past week since Typhoon Mawar hit here in the island and in the Marianas. Joining me now to talk all the updates to see how fast the people are going to get the help they so desperately need is Krystal Paco-San Agustin, the governor's communications director. Hafaday, Krystal.
Hafaday, Nick. Hafaday, KOM, and Hafaday, the people of Guam. Thank you so much for taking those preparedness steps. Our federal family, FEMA officials, and their counterparts, they're all here on Guam ready to mobilize. And what they're saying and their feedback is that Guam was prepared. We're one of the most prepared islands they've ever seen. And again, that's all the investments we've made to hardening our infrastructure, to concrete homes and updating our building codes and making those investments in shutters. I think what really was our downfall here was communications. And when we went dark, when the radio stations went dark, when our media partners weren't able to get out information, that was really where it really caused the frantic and the chaos and the panic and not knowing, trying to call a loved one and not being able to do so. That for me too was very scary, but we're so grateful to our media partners for coming back online as soon as possible to hear a radio voice, to hear news talk, to hear your voice to your face. I think the people of Guam are comforted. We're talking about just 1 week out since Typhoon Mawar's landfall, and we have already re-energized the critical infrastructure facilities we need. Guam Memorial Hospital is back on island power.
That's good.
The Guam Port Authority is back on island power and open. Also, our airport, they were closed. Thousands of people left grounded. They are open, up and running now in just a few days. And so this is a great sign of recovery. I just ask the people of Guam to be a little bit patient. What really I think the message is right now is recovery. Recovery, we are 7 days out. Recovery is here. Recovery is happening and relief is here. Again, recovery because we're asking the people of Guam to please clean your homes. Take the pictures you need. Take the pictures you need, save the receipts, but please start the cleanup, because if you don't, they become potentially an environmental hazard, a health hazard to you and your family. I'm talking about moldy furniture. Please, please. The Guam Solid Waste Authority is stepping up. They are going to be picking up trash for everybody. Then I'm talking about residential trash. And so paying customer or non-paying customer, if you know Mongong Totumaiti is on a Wednesday, put your trash out, they'll pick it up. Also transfer stations, they're waiving their fees. So Guam Solid Waste Authority is doing this service for 2 weeks, and that's to allow the people of Guam to clean their homes, to move on, so we can all recover and be resilient for this typhoon together. Also the green waste sites, I know that most of the damage many of us sustained was relative to losing the big trees in our yards, fallen trees, fallen debris. Again, those are issues too, because we're talking about sites that little fire ants, rhino beetles could start breeding in. So you want to remove those debris. We have green waste sites available in almost every village.
Yeah, we have that list as well.
Yes, that list is published. We want you to clean your homes. And
help, is it coming soon?
Help is here, in fact. Prior to Typhoon Mawar's landfall, FEMA was already here, about 50 people from FEMA, and then post landfall, once we were able to get those flights in for them, they were here, especially the big decision makers. We're talking about FEMA's administrator, Region 9 Administrator Bob Fenton, who's no stranger to Guam. As you heard during the press conference, he was here during Pongsanwa, during Typhoon Paca, so he knows. He's coming home here, also as well as Ann Binks, another big decision maker. And so there, again, I want to credit our governor, Leon Guerrero, and our Lieutenant Governor Josh Snoria for making those asks from the federal government. We got approved for pre-landfall, for major disaster declaration, and now individual assistance. So what does this mean for you at home? It means FEMA, you can register today for individual assistance. So individual assistance, you can do that by registering at 1-800-621-3362 or going online at disasterassistance.gov. We know that many of you still don't have power.
Yeah, if they can't do that, if they can't register or
internet data service, like myself, you can actually wait for their disaster recovery centers to open, and that's going to come to you in the villages. We're hoping to get those online before the end of the week. We're looking at north, central, south locations if you want to apply in person.
Those locations not yet set?
Those locations will be announced either today or tomorrow. Okay. We're finalizing them. They have to be a certain, big enough. We want to have power, of course, ADA accessible, but north, central, and south, we're expecting to announce those locations very, very soon. If you'd much rather apply in person, not bank on a 1-800 number.
Yeah,
or
some don't even have that option.
Some of them don't have that option. So I want to say as of 6 p.m. last night, over 2,700 people, that's 2,785 Guam residents have registered for FEMA help already.
And we know there's many more out there that are affected, thousands, tens of thousands more. Red Cross also on the ground, American Red Cross, including the Guam chapter here, doing their best to distribute the supplies that have been coming in, as long as with the humanitarian flights as well. But Chris, there are also Guamanians and people watching from thousands of miles away asking how can they help?
How can they help? That's a great question. I mean, right now I think it's once we get the power and the fuel situation, settled, I think the best way to help is to help your neighbor, is to ask your neighbor how can I help you?
Yeah.
I think this is the time for the community to rise up. As for help, you can call the Joint Information Center. You can pull up those numbers.
Yep.
At the Joint Information Center, we can collect your information. I know people want to donate. They want to donate not just their time, but they want to donate, bottled water, because there's still a precautionary boil water notice. They want to donate, their monetary donation. There's lots of ways to help. You can call the Joint Information Center. Tell us how you want to help. People even stepping up, they want to volunteer. And we want to just thank you to all our nonprofit groups for stepping up. Total Guam's doing those mobile clinics, going straight into the shelters. American Red Cross is helping us. Now we can provide 2 hot meals a day to those in the shelters. That's such a luxury right now. I think, we're all just counting our blessings. If you have power, you're really happy. If you have water, you're happier. When you can get data and access to some internet and get some of the latest updates, I know that's a blessing as well. So again, we're working to get those communications, the telecoms up. I want to express again, there's no fuel shortage on island, so if you don't need to be in line in the gas station, please don't. But
thankfully, we've seen those ease up overnight.
We have 45 days supply of fuel at the port, so there's no need to panic buy unless you really need the gas to either get to work, maybe run the generator so you can keep that fridge power to for your medicines, for the food that you need to feed your family. Please don't waste your time in line. Again, power, there's no shortage rather of fuel. So please, Guam, no panic buying. We're all in this together. Just under a week out from Typhoon Mawar, we're making significant progress. And I think this is another message our FEMA partners have conveyed to us. Aside from being one of the most prepared territories they've seen, our utilities companies are saying our restoration, all those investments we've made, we're going to get powered up and our water back online way faster. Recovery is going to happen way faster than Stonewall, which took 3 months.
The recovery period, though, even though that was 20 years ago, infrastructure now, like you said, is so much better, but still, we've pretty much gone reverse, back into almost the Stone Ages because of telecoms.
Back to basics.
But that's why we have leaders like the Mayor's Council of Guam President Jesse Alex speaking with us passionately and frustrated at the administration. Has the governor had any time to talk with him, or what's the response?
So we did meet with the island mayors, I believe it was Sunday morning, and FEMA. And we heard their concerns loud and clear. We hear them, we're listening, we're resolving all those issues. A lot of it is relative to residents wanting to clean their homes. We've announced those green waste sites. As for the money, our Guam legislature was meeting to release those funds, to make those funds available. The purchase orders for heavy equipment are well underway. Mayors just want the support. We're ready to give it to them. We're thankful for their leadership within their villages. I speak because I live with the mayor, and my father is the Mamuntok Mighty mayor, and I see the hard work that each and every one of them is putting in. Again, we met with them on Sunday morning with FEMA. Most of their frustrations is about how do we move debris? How do we clean up our villages?
How do we get work done now?
How do we get done?
Not tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Our people need it now. Like I was saying, the longer we wait to clean up, the more hazards we're posing to our people. Talking about health hazards, environmental hazards, but also we're trying to mitigate issues like illegal dumping is another thing. Why our green waste sites need to be managed with security to avoid illegal dumping. So what are we going to do with all this trash? Again, I cannot say thank you enough on behalf of the Leon Guerrero administration to our mayors. Our mayors, thank you so much for being among our frontliners within the villages, leading the recovery efforts within their villages, being the first place our residents call, and also many of them are using their facilities as
real quick, I didn't want to interrupt you, Chris, but you hear the sirens here behind us. That's the police car escorting fuel trucks, tanker trucks, because they need to get them to the sites because we have distribution issues. early on.
No longer is distribution
longer.
an issue. The chief of police reported to me yesterday, and within a 24-hour period, they were able to do about 26 escorts for the fuel trucks. And the reason why, one, it's safety, get them through traffic as well, but it also means we can transport trucks at night. And that means we're constantly providing fuel to the gas station so that you at home can get it to where you need it to be.
All I have to say, Chris, just to wrap things up for the people that we've been out there talking to since day one of recovery on the ground is, please help us get all of this done ASAP. They need it. They need it now.
Absolutely. And again, FEMA, if you're one among the many who were left displaced because of Typhoon Mawar, if you need financial help, that's here. That help is here. FEMA is on the ground, boots on the ground. You have the phone numbers, you have the FEMA app. And again, we're going to be announcing those disaster recovery centers. If you don't want to go to a disaster recovery center, what's secondary to that is they have the field workers who go house to house. And those will also be announced very, very shortly. We look forward to working.
Will they have any specific markings, jackets, identification?
Absolutely, and I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Again, those will be deployed to the villages, but we're going to set up that disaster recovery centers north, central, and south for residents who want to physically come in. We'll work with our mayor's partners. FEMA's meeting every day with our mayors, so we can secure these sites, so we can figure out what the needs are. Because every village is different. We are all hurt differently. North, of course, taking the brunt of the storm closest to the eye, and our south is historically flooding. And so we're working around the clock. We still have hundreds of people in our shelters, American Red Cross among our support. We have U.S. Army Corps of Engineers also here. They've already made their visits to our Guam Memorial Hospital. And so there's a lot of help here. People of Guam, I think the number one issue right now is getting the water restored, the power restored, the telecoms restored, and those efforts are aggressively underway.
Hey. It needs to come soon, faster.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we will have the sites that you need to know later as well on KUAM as soon as we get it from the Joint Information Center. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.